Good evening, everyone, and welcome. Welcome to the Wiseburn Unified School District Board meeting for Tuesday, June 9th, 2026. Wendy, I'm going to go ahead and call the meeting to order at 6:02 p.m. And Wendy, if you would please take roll call.
Ms. Legaspi,
Present.
Mr. Martinez,
Present.
Ms. Cappy,
Present.
Dr. Goldman,
Present.
Mr. Vanellos.
Present. Okay, next we are going to go to the Pledge of Allegiance, and I'm going to ask Olive to please lead us in the pledge.
Stand and remove all hats. Place your hand over your heart. Ready, begin.
Of the United States and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Olive. Nicely done. Okay. Item 3.3 on our agenda is report on actions taken in closed session. The board has nothing to report as there is no actions taken in closed. Section 4.1, is there a motion to approve the agenda as presented tonight?
So moved.
Second.
Any comments or suggestions? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Motion carries 5-0. We are on section 5 for public hearings. Our first public hearing is the 2026-2027 Local Control and Accountability Plan. I'm going to go ahead and open the public hearing at 6:03 p.m. Are there any comments? But I'll turn it over also to Maggie.
Oh, exciting. Mr. Neely queued up. We are currently in year 2 of our 3-year LCAP, so we are on the back end of this thing, which is kind of exciting. Thank you for being here tonight. Okay, so this is, like I just mentioned, we're going into year 2 of our 3-year LCAP. So next year is going to look very different because we're going to be closing this one up, reaching out to our educational partners and redeveloping a new LCAP. So we're going to be closing and opening this year. So you're going to see some gaps in the final LCAP this year, waiting for that last year to come through with both our metrics and our goals. But we're all talking about student positive impact and outcomes throughout this plan in our 5 goals that we've developed, which match the assurances of our district. So some subgroups that you're going to see that are highlighted, that are required to be highlighted within our LCAP are our English learners, foster youth, homeless youth, and our students who are socioeconomically disadvantaged. Our homeless population is very, very small this year, and so they aren't highlighted within our LCAP as we can't. There's not a big enough subgroup to actually highlight them, and our foster youth as well, without giving away who they possibly could be. So our 2 big subgroups that we're going to be focusing on today with our supplemental funding will be our English learners and our socioeconomically disadvantaged. And this is going to sound familiar to some of the presentations that we've done around the dashboard as well. But just a brief look at where we're at as a district. So currently we have 2,538 students. And you're going to see our 2 different subgroups as well as our students with disabilities. And we've kind of stabilized because last year we had a significant drop in our English learners. But you can see in the 3 groups, we're pretty steadying out of where we're at and predicted to look the same for next year as well. Which this helps with our funding as well as predicting our dashboard data with our subgroups. I did not hold it down long. Sorry. I learned a trick. Okay. So our California dashboard is one of our big metrics that we looked at to see how we are progressing within our LCAP goals. So we talked about this back in January of this year of 2026. So we are green as a district in chronic absenteeism, green in suspension rate, our English learner progress, as well as English language arts, and then in the yellow for mathematics. Now, the next 5 parts that we're being measured on the LCAP are going to be identified within our local indicators presentation, which will be when we actually go ahead and improve the LCAP at our next meeting. But these are actually self-assessed. So last year we met all of those, and we sure hope that plan, and we know we will be meeting them again this year as well. So our LCAP key funding, and these are our funds that we really need to make sure we highlight. They're called our supplemental funds. So this school year, $2,786,846. So you're going to be seeing that spread out throughout the 5 goals within the actions that are met with these groups of students. So just a little bit of what happens throughout the LCAP process. It is like a cyclical process that happens, throughout our school year. But as of July 1st, once our LCAP is approved, we really start analyzing out and putting our actions into place. And so through the different programming that we do, preparing for school starting, if we're changing courses or hiring staff based on feedback from our LCAP, that's really where our summer time is spent. And then we begin to share out the data with our dashboard data, or the dashboard and our CASP data predicted to come out on October 15th of this year. So that's really going to be driving our LCAP for next year, and then the writing of our new goals. In November through April, we're going to be reaching out to our community throughout our processes and to all of our different groups within our school site councils, our DLOCs, our ELOCs, to get information out to our community and input from our educational partners and beyond. And then in April through June, we really start revising. So we've been in the process of revising this. We have gotten a pretty good green light. We might have to make a few adjustments from LACO on the current, on the LCAP, a few little metrics that were a little bit off. And then our public hearing today, and then we will put this before your approval next week, at our next meeting. So this year, very excitingly, this last year, we had 132 responses to our community survey. And so we did a really good push with our community and had 414 responses. Many of our metrics within our LCAP are driven by these surveys. So to those of you who are in the audience that get these emails, these are fun surveys to fill out and click, parents. We really do need your input because they really do help drive what we're doing in each of our classrooms. Our staff also get surveys through our local indicator survey as well. And then we have 2 educational partners meetings in March and in April of this year. And we're going to be having even more in the next school year as we revise out this, as we revise and produce our new LCAP. One thing or the 4 things, kind of common things that we heard throughout these meetings was the importance of personalized learning and academic supports for our students and our learners, expanding student interests in real world experiences from those in the classroom and clubs after school and beyond. The real importance of fostering peer-to-peer relationships is crucial in our campuses, and then our structural, systemic, and staff supports that are needed. So what were our key wonderings was how can we expand and elevate student interests and activities? So I know we've done a lot of work on what are some possible after school enrichment opportunities, as well as just interests in classes. Like you're going to be seeing some new electives coming through at the middle school this year. You're going to see new programming with elevating, as we talked about at our last meeting, with having different math options available at the middle school. So these are all from feedback that we've received from the community. How we promote authentic learning experiences for our students. How do we connect this to make sure it's important for them? How do we provide the voice and choice, to personalize that learning for each and every kid is what our teachers spend so much time doing, and a lot of our professional development is around. And then how do we continue to build relationships with peers and with our community and beyond? So our 5 goals, they do match our assurances. Goal number 1, safety. We assure that every educational partner will have access to safe learning environments, both physically, emotionally, with the presence of well-trained adults and students on campus. 2, student-centered whole child. We assure that our instructional programs and students' entire experience at school are attentive to their unique academic and social emotional strengths, needs, and choices. Future Ready, we assure teaching and learning that includes academic and co-curricular programs to strengthen students' abilities to excel as lifelong learners in an ever-changing world. And then goals number 4 and 5, community engagement and organizational strength. We assure that all members of the WUSD community are respected as partners in education and that a diverse, inclusive, and equitable organization provides a foundation for all members of the WUSD community. And our organizational strength. We assure WUSD will manage the district with prudent and effective organizational practices and systems. Wiseburn commits to maintaining a strong fiscal position that supports advancement of our commitments. We're going to go into each of these goals today, and myself, Dr. Ingram, and Ms. DeMarcos are going to be presenting on these various topics. So in goal number 1, safety. The 3 metrics that we use throughout this goal are our community surveys, perceptions of safety, belonging, engagement, our school accountability report cards, and then some perception data from both our students and our families. So 95% of our families report that students have access to a safe learning environment. That's fantastic. And here are what are within our actions. I always call them like our big ticket items. Like what are the ones that are costing that we're really putting a lot of like heart and soul into. And so with Safety Go Guardian, which is an online program to ensure student safety online, our trainings that our staff gets through ASKIP, our school accountability report cards, which I think we saw in February time and approved those, our routine restricted maintenance, which is mandated by the state, our ELAP opportunities, and then our registered behavior technicians that are on all of our campuses. And then in our student-centered goal, our metrics that we use are our CAS, LCAC, and iReady diagnostic data. Obviously, the California dashboard, and again, perception data from our community. And so 70% of elementary students and 76% of middle school students report a positive learning environment on our campuses. 71% of students report Wiseburn staff are committed to academic success for all students. And then our CASP data, which we've seen before, in our English language arts, 62.77% of our students are meeting or exceeding the state standards. And so our subgroups that we've talked about, 14% of our English learners, 34% of our students with disabilities, and 52% of our socioeconomically disadvantaged students. And then in math, 49.08% of students are at or above grade level. And then our 3 different subgroups. And then our actions, our administrative PLC, this is, and as well as our guiding coalitions. We've spent a lot of time with our instructional leaders on our campuses with the CAPS network. And the work that is being done with our teachers is pretty awesome to see. I invite you to some of those meetings. I know some of you have attended what we call TCTs, but it's a great time for our teachers to really get down and collaborate. And we know instructionally, teacher collective efficacy is number 1. It's the thing that is going to move the needle most in student learning. And our teachers are in the beginning stages of doing great work with this. And bravo to all of them, because this isn't easy work and they're doing a fantastic job. We've done quite a few reports about our report card revision, and we're ready to go. I'm happy to report that we have 55 teachers who voluntarily are going to be joining into the next year to this group, and we cross our fingers, even a few more over the summer. We'll kind of join in what we're doing. Our embedded PLC and our Wednesday meetings, the different curriculums that we support from, iReady Online to Wonders to our math coaches. I mean, you can see, and I'm excited to share with you some of our data that's coming through the end of the year to see how much we've grown in mathematics over the past couple of years since receiving a math coach. And then our physical education and our fine arts programs. For Future Ready, our annual community survey, local assessment data. So our local assessment data is our iReady diagnostic. And then our students meeting English proficiency reclassification criteria. All our metrics fallen within here. 87% of our community feel teaching and learning at this school includes opportunities to analyze and think critically. That's an awesome statistic. We only have, because we still have a few people finishing up on the last day of school or end of year iReady data, which I'm excited we can share with that hopefully at our next meeting and update this a little bit. But you've seen our beginning and middle of the year data just to show that growth. I mean, this is just a quick snapshot in time of where our students were at. But you can see just from that top bar in both reading and mathematics, the growth district-wide that was occurring with our students. Now, this really does match the CASP scores. And what we have been seeing initially coming through right now is they're pretty comparable. And then some ELD programming changes as we did for the first time. We onboarded iReady very, very smoothly. Our teachers were fantastic. This is something that was very different from them. What's even more exciting is that iReady has done a lot of work with making the diagnostic shorter than it was, which was one of the main feedbacks from our teachers. So it should be even shorter for our students to be able to, get the data that we need to drive our instruction. We onboarded an elevation program to help us really look at data for our English learners. And then we created a section at the middle school that was working with just our LTEL learners, as they were read in almost every category on the dashboard. And we look forward to where our dashboard data and our CASP data lies for next year with how that class supported them. And this was from, attendance supports to social emotional growth supports to what do you need help organizing, like executive functioning skills for students. And then our big key actions within goal 3 was our English language development program with the support of our specialist, our early childhood program at the preschool, all of our special education services, not all, some of them, family and community outreach that we do, financial literacy at the middle school, and then our program Project Lead the Way, the library services that we provided each of our schools, AI task force, which we've started to do some professional development in AI throughout our days, GATE instruction, and then our multi-tiered systems of support through our reading intervention teachers. Now I'm going to hand goal number 4 over to Dr. Ingram. Let me just skip. Getting good at it's a quick click. It's a quick click.
Good evening. Goal 4 focuses on community engagement and reflects our commitment to ensuring that students feel connected, supported, and valued at school. The data in this section highlights how students, staff, and families experience our schools, as well as the impact those experiences have on things like attendance and behavior. One of the strongest predictors of student well-being and school connectedness is whether students feel connected to a caring adult at school. And so as we see here, 88% of elementary students and 70% of our middle school students reported having caring adults at school. This is up significantly from 81% and 60% respectively from last year. Similarly, 84% of elementary students report that teachers and other adults at school respect students, up slightly from 83% last year. Staff perceptions remain very positive as well, with 98% of teachers reporting that their schools foster appreciation of student diversity and respect for one another. And this is an increase from 95% last year.
101.
Families also continue to report strong perceptions of our schools. 98% of families report that their school values diversity, equity, and inclusion, up significantly from 81% last year. "96% of parents and guardians report that Wiseburn offers opportunities for families to participate. This compared to 87% last year.
One strategy supporting these outcomes is capturing kids' hearts. The numbers in the parentheses represent comparisons to national Capturing Kids' Hearts data. So we can see that in terms of implementation practices, our elementary students are above those national averages, and our middle school students are right there at the national averages. And when looking at the culture and climate, how students perceive how these actions are helping to impact their school experience, we see that, again, our elementary school students are exceeding those national averages, and our middle school is right there with the teacher relationships and also exceeding in student encouragement. I'll note that at the SLC, they were acknowledged as a national showcase school, so an exemplary school that's implementing Capturing Kids' Hearts. And 3 of our other schools were right there, so they're almost ready to be acknowledged as showcase schools as well.
First of all, exciting news across the board, great upward trends. Can you give us any context of what 4.8, is this on a 5-point scale?
It's on a 5-point scale. Yes, so these are from our student surveys. Again, on a 5-point scale where 5 is the highest.
Great.
All right, and so these positive perceptions are reflected in student outcomes as well. We see here Weisburn's suspension rates, we moved up to the green, and which reflects a decline in our suspension rates by 0.8%. With our specialized student populations that Ms. Mayberry had mentioned, we're focusing on, these are all reductions from last year as well. So the 1.2, the 1.2, and the 2.3 are also improvements from our numbers from last year. Similarly, with our chronic absenteeism, we also moved into the green, reflecting a 1.4 decline in chronic absenteeism, and also improvements in the 3 populations that we're focusing on as well. Here we're looking at attendance and behavior, so just changes over time. We see that from 2022 to now, we've gone from 16.1% chronic absenteeism to 8.7% in February. And with our suspension rates, we've improved from 1.3% in 2022 to 0.7%. So our local, the outcomes we've reviewed today are supported by the actions. The actions shown here through counseling services, our core team, student wellness and safety initiatives, attendance supports, family outreach, and community partnerships. We continue investing in the relationships and systems that help students feel connected and supported. And taken together, the data suggests that students, staff, and families continue to report positive school experiences while attendance and behavior outcomes continue to improve. These actions will remain a priority as we work to sustain this progress and continue supporting the success of all students.
And then our last goal number 5 on organizational strength. We use our local indicators, our budget, and then staffing to measure its success. And we've met most of those, like I mentioned in our local indicators. We have met every local indicator that we have. Our main actions being our business services department, technology, our SIPSAs that each of our schools provide, and then our teacher evaluation committee that has gotten started this school year. So we have 3 new actions that are being added to our LCAP this year from feedback that we've received from our community. And so action that will fall under 1.6, which will fall under goal number 1, is specific Power School training. So we're going to be doing Power Schools training with some of our staff within the district office, kind of making a trainer of trainer models, as well as with our own staff, especially when we're onboarding our new report card. So how to use the new grade book, et cetera. And then action 2.13, we had to specifically add this action because in our previous LCAP STAR was our local assessment, and we had to change that to the iReady diagnostic. And we were supposed to do that last year, but we didn't. And I didn't, excuse me. And then action 3.21, which is adding the MTSS English Language Arts TOSA position. That's it for the LCAP this year. Are there any questions for me? For anyone out in the community, you can email me questions for the next couple of weeks before we go up for final board approval.
I'll go ahead and open it up to the board first. Neil?
Sure.
Sure. Some tremendously exciting numbers here.
Yeah.
95% safety, 87% future ready. I keep going through the numbers you just did. One thing I like about your reference to iReady and data is it gives us individual information on every student to help learn what their unique needs are and to address those.
Right.
And I think one of the greatest opportunities to find out where they might have some opportunities for improvement.
Mhm.
I'd like to see that with our data. So that, I don't know that you're going to get from 95 to 100% on safety. That's not realistic. But what is the 5%? What is the 24 to 30% that said we're not meeting the student-centered need? What is the 13% that says we're not doing the future ready? What are the lessons there? There's our opportunity for growth. I'd like us to see an analysis of what are the lessons there and is there action? Because I think that's where the beauty of opportunity lies. I'd like us to see it take advantage of that. So that would be my request for a little more data on what have we learned from those who did not meet those, and can we use that information to act accordingly? The other thing is, I think having the trends that Dr. Ingram shared and just how are we doing over time, that tells another story that would be useful to see in future presentations. But certainly on the right road and very exciting to see. Thank you.
No, just noting that it's like 50% better on the suspension rate and the chronic absenteeism. That's a huge difference in a few school years. Right. So kudos to the team on that. And I am curious about at the middle school where some of the engagement scores were a little bit lower. What else are we doing in that space, or is that just something that we should expect in middle school?
They're 12 to 15, which we do consider that a little bit when we're looking at the data, definitely. Yeah.
I did also find, sorry, just one other thing. I did find it interesting that there was like a dramatic difference between the scores on whether an adult was like individuating my learning or like sees me, but then they felt that there were adults that cared on campus. So trying to figure out why, like, what's the distinction there? Like, what's the perception that, to Neil's point about what are we learning from those comparisons?
Right. Yeah.
But overall.
Anyone else? Comments? No. I do have 12 public comment cards, but none are on this topic. So there's no further comments on this. I'm going to go on the local control accountability plan. I'm going to go ahead and close the public hearing.
It's for budget as well.
That's a separate.
You close this hearing and open a new one. Yeah.
So I'll go ahead and close the public hearing for the LCAP at 6:30 p.m. Okay. And with that, we are on 5.2, which is a public hearing for the 2026-2027 budget. And I'll open this public hearing at also at 6:30 p.m. plus a few seconds. And I'll go ahead and call Marilu de Arcos up to the podium.
Good evening, everyone. I'm really excited to present this budget. I do want to say the LCAP and the budget are aligned. Our goals and plans on the LCAP should be reflected in our budget and what we're doing with our financials. And so I want to thank all of our principals, our business services department, everyone that collaborated in building this budget together. And just to give you some background with the cyclical cycle, similar to the LCAP, the budget also is a living document that we address at different stages. We get our governor's proposed budget. The governor of California sends a budget in January. And so we start to think about different projections. And in May, he has a May revise where he's getting closer to the final state budget, right? And so we do the best we can with the projections that we have at that time. And so here's some of the good news that we received. We did receive a super COLA this year. However, I do want to go over some of the strings that were attached, right? So it's a 2.87% statutory COLA that's being applied to all of our grade span adjustments, but there's also an additional 1.44% additional LCFF investment, which brings us to a 4.31 augmented COLA for the 26-27 fiscal year. This is great, you know, because this is what it looks like, how much we would receive for each of our students based on our ADA, right? And so it's a great thing that we're getting this adjustment for the 26-27 fiscal year. The part that we're saying comes with strings attached is because there are certain, there's a proposed paid pregnancy disability leave, a new 14-week paid leave that would benefit our certificated classified employees through I guess the expectation is that we take this 1.4% additional COLA to be able to fund this leave. However, it has not been approved yet, but it's still in the works. And so that's why we're being very careful in the way that we did budget that 4% COLA, but we just want to make sure that they kind of expect us to be able to fund part of this mandate if it is approved. And so there's more information. The Department of Finance estimates, sorry.
So there's I guess an employer contribution portion of that?
Right, we would be
So it's
responsible
not
for
fully
paying.
funded.
It's not fully funded.
It's an initiative they'd like to have, but it's not fully funded.
It's something that districts would now be responsible to fund. And so that's the tricky part with this. The 1.44 augmentation is great, but that figure assumes a 2% pregnancy rate with no detailed analysis. So
Say what percent you think?
exactly, sorry. So Dr. Dougal and I are actually working on what would that mean? What does that look like for us here at Weisburn? And so that's part of what just came through in the May revise.
I'm assuming that rates doesn't factor in like substitute for UAE. Doesn't look at that.
Right, because, you know, we would have to, now it's a paid leave. We're also paying now the substitute that has to come in
That's
and,
the issue.
right. And so this is a great augmentation, but does that truly fully cover the cost and what that would mean? And so we will have a budget committee meeting this summer where we're discussing different scenarios. And also we might come back to you in August with the 45-day revise once the governor's California budget has actually been approved. Okay. Great news, special education has finally received an investment that I think we've been asking for years. Now our base rate per ADA funded has increased to $1,340 per student. It's a statewide investment that we're very grateful for. It's going to make a difference in helping us provide the best services to our students. And so this is about a 40% increase in the base rate. Right now at this point for the adopted budget, we are projecting conservatively a 30% increase. And you will see a revision at first interim if that changes.
And this is proposed, so.
Right, exactly.
The vote is imminent.
Yeah, really soon. Okay, so I kind of wrote down some of the assumptions that were used. We did include the COLAs and the additional investment to LCFF because those are more than likely going to be funded. The discretionary block grant amount, the final amount has not been completely finalized. And so we did budget, again, conservatively, assuming that we will get some funds. We still just don't know what those funds, the amount will be for us.
Can you give us an advisory on what we budgeted?
That one, we budgeted, I think, half of the allocation, like what we received this year. Yeah,
Okay, I just want to make sure, because we have a deficit, so I want to see where it's coming from.
right. And so I think that's what first interim is always, sorry, I didn't even walk you through the whole cycle, right? So we have the governor's budget that came out and now the May revise. The first interim is truly when we have more data. We started the school year, and that's at a point where I really meet with all principals, and it's like, what are the needs? What is our actual enrollment at this point? How's ADA tracking for us? And so first interim really will capture any carryover that we have from this year after we close the books. And so we do that around, you approve it in December, and then we bring to you, like we just recently did, the second interim, which is another revision to the budget closer to the end of the year where we're kind of finalizing the numbers. And what you'll see in today's presentation, you'll see estimated actuals. Now that we're even closer to finalizing the 25th and 25-26 fiscal year, you'll see how we're projecting to end the year and how we're projecting to have the 26-27 year look, and also 2 fiscal years after, in order to maintain a positive certification.
I just want to say one of the sort of nuances to school budgeting is that, we're in the process of budgeting for next year with unclear information. So we're still waiting for, June 15th deadline for the budget to be passed. And then beyond that, there'll be trailer bill language that won't be passed right away that will also have impact on us fiscally. So I think, to Marilu's point, having a 45-day revision in our sites at least, and whether we need to do that or not, we'll leave that up to how the budget sort of evolves. But more importantly, how we look at first interim as a really major step in the process, because then we can start reconciling all of those things that either didn't add up or now, are better than what we had thought as the budget gets adopted. So it's kind of strange because we're adopting a budget that you all have to adopt, and we don't even have a full set of information yet. So anyway.
Well, but to that point, I just want to reiterate, I appreciate the conservative estimates.
Sure.
To give us the chance to be better. Thank you.
Okay, so here's just a little bit of our approach on how we approach this adopted budget. Same thing, we included the statutory COLA, the 1.44% augmentation, and we are staying conservative on the discretionary block grant. Okay, some local factors, current pension information. This table reflects kind of the rates for our CalPERS and our CalSTRS, and so we can also see the rates changing in the upcoming fiscal years. For the 26-27 fiscal year, CalPERS is 26.40%, meaning for each employee that works with us that is in the CalPERS program, the district contributes this percentage towards their retirement. Same with CalSTRS, that's the portion that the district is responsible. It's included in your staffing.
These have gone up every year. They're trending down? Wow.
Yeah, that's some good news
take
from
that.
CalPERS.
Wow.
Okay, so let's get started. This is our general fund unrestricted revenue. You'll see the 25-26 estimated actuals with our LCFF sources ending at about $29.7 million. And you'll see that the adopted budget is going up a bit thanks to this augmented COLA, $30.8 million. We have other state revenue. The federal revenue is restricted, so you wouldn't see it in this side of the reporting. This is only unrestricted dollars that do not have these ties in a specific way that we have to spend them. And then other local revenue projected at a slight decrease. Again, it's really unknown because we have commitments that come later in the year. Once the year has started, we know truly how much, certain PTAs want to contribute. WEF, thank you to our partners at WEF that also fund a lot of our local revenue for our students. And so those are some of the projections here. We also have our expenditures for unrestricted, estimating that, I did not include the total, but here are the certificated salaries, estimated actuals, and your adopted budget. And so there is a minor difference of going down. Again, those numbers can change and fluctuate. In the classified salaries, you do see a major increase of about 500,000. That's mainly because of this settlement that we just went through, this retro as well. So our projections have changed, and now we are also taking into account like step and column and the changes of what that means to longevity stipends with our classified staff. Books and supplies, other operating costs. These are just comparisons between the estimated actuals and the adopted budget. Again, as we review our funds and our finals, this will also likely change in the first interim. Okay, this is combined. So this is the whole picture. I was only showing you the unrestricted side of the equation because what's important to know is that we are required to have a 3% reserve. And the only portion of the reserve, they're all unrestricted funds. And so we really want to take a look at our unrestricted expenses. This is combined with our restricted funds as well. So for 25-26, you see LCFF sources were unrestricted. Federal revenue, you'll see them here. And then other funds that are also restricted are included together. Yes.
Just want to make sure I understand this. So
Sure.
the beginning fund balance, we're projecting our adopted budget will be $3 million less than it was this year.
Yes.
Okay.
You have a little bit of a deficit this year. Yep. Here are multi-year projections. In order to have a positive certification, we have to make sure that we are projecting that we can sustain this current year and next two fiscal years. These are the projections combined with both unrestricted and restricted. However, just please note that unrestricted are the only ones that really matter in this ending fund balance for our REU, which means that 3% requirement. If you go towards the bottom, the REU, what we would be required to have as a reserve is the 1.3, because that typically would be about, not even really, but like a month's worth of some sort of expenses, right? But we have to have some sort of reserve. And then the total available reserves are actually the 3.4. So our percentages are down there and projected percentages, but the requirement is to have the 3%. Okay, here are some of our other funds. So all of this information was just our Fund 1 general fund. These are the other funds that we do have. Student activity is your ASB fund. These are the projected ending fund balances for this current fiscal year and the next fiscal year. We have our food services, our child nutrition fund, deferred maintenance, special reserve, our OPEB fund, our bond, which is Fund 21, capital facilities, different funds there, and then our enterprise fund, I do want to highlight, it does look like a negative because we have to make sure we account for, if it was to close down today, we have to account for all the liabilities because it is our preschool that people do pay for. And so that's the requirement to report it that way. Okay, any questions?
Just on the child nutrition line.
Yes.
We're projecting almost $500,000 less. And is that revenue from the federal government or from the state?
A bit of both. It's a bit of both. We do report on we do submit claims for the food that we are serving for our students. But I think for 26-27, there was a grant called the KIT funds that we received in the last couple of years. And so we didn't apply for it for this upcoming year. And we're projecting, we're not going to have those KIT funds available in the 26-27 fiscal year.
Is there a reason why we didn't apply for it this year?
It was before, yeah.
A question on the 117 and 20 in terms of these are investable dollars. I think, am I mistaken that you were looking into investing these or options?
I'm actually, something that we will go over at our budget committee this summer, considering options for an OPEB trust, because that would put us in a good standing looking at future liabilities with our employees. We want to make sure that we're able to provide what we're promising them when they're in retirement. And so investing those funds in an OPEB trust to maintain those costs long-term, that's something that we do want to bring to the board.
Giving us a better return than we're getting.
Yes,
currently.
sure, yes.
Okay.
I would assume there's rules with that though, right?
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
absolutely. Yeah. There's evaluation, an actuarial report every year as well.
I want to do a couple questions regarding when we present the budget to LACO. At the end of when the process is done, LACO usually issues a letter indicating the positive certification for the budget. How do you see this comparing, and would we be expecting a positive certification from LACO?
Yes, absolutely, because we are able to demonstrate our planning purposes. We meet that 3% reserve. for the 26-27 fiscal year, but as also the next 2 fiscal years projected.
Thank you. Last comment I had is I wanted to thank you for the presentation, but also your opening comments in terms of the LCAP being aligned with our budget, and Maggie as well. I also want to thank all of our parents and people that participated in the LCAP, because as you can see, the effort and the energy that goes into all of those meetings, which I'm sure was numerous, and a lot of folks participated in that. So thank you for participating, but ultimately that is what gets funded. So your comments and your input is definitely appreciated, it's valued, and this is where it goes. Once that conversation happens, then the district ends up funding those programs based on the meetings that everybody has had. So thank you. Thank you to everyone who's participated in the LCAP. Thank you very much. With that, it's 6:47. I'm going to go ahead and close the second public hearing on our 2026-2027 budget at 6:47. Great. Next, we are going to move to section 6, public comments, items that are not on the agenda. I do have 12 cards. So in terms of time, I'm going to allocate 2 minutes per speaker in order to stay within the time constraints. Please look over on your right-hand side. Wendy does have a timer for 2 minutes. I will call each speaker tonight based on in the order that I received them. And based on the Robert's Rules of Order and Brown Act, the board is not permitted to discuss any comments received today, but you are all welcomed to provide your comments, and we will definitely take those into consideration. So the first speaker that we have is Jerry Won, and the topic is Little League updates and Del Air updates. Welcome, Jerry.
Hi, everybody. I want to yield as much time as I can to the students. And so, hi, everybody. Welcome to.
Jerry.
Hi. Hi, online people. My name is Jerry Won. I serve on both the boards of the Del Air PTA and the Wiseman Little League. Welcome to the final week of school, everybody.
Yes.
And we just wrapped up our Little League season. And so I want to thank the board here and Blake and everybody for once again allowing us to play on our fields and to be a great partner here. We had the first in history, we had all 3 divisions that have a playoff to go to the second double elimination championship game. So on Saturday, we had the AA Rockies walk away with rings, the AAA Blue Jays, which made our family sad, but that's okay. And the Major Blue Jays. And I want to share a quick story. Last week, Principal Watson, our incoming principal at Del Air, sat through the 2-hour and 41-minute meeting, and we welcomed him. I had emailed him and just noted that, hey, Jacob has a game at 2:30. If at all you could come, that'd be great. He said, I'll do what I can, but didn't hear back from him. He came to the game. Not only did he come to the game, he didn't tell anybody he was at the game until the game ended and then introduced himself. And so that spoke quite highly of his character and his excitement to join our community and to be present. And so we're really, really excited to see him. The 12-year-olds who are playing their final season at Wiseman Little League had their farewell scrimmage game at the new Wiseman Sports Complex last Friday under the lights, so that was fun. And now we are just beginning our all-star season. But I'm really excited today here to recognize 2 of our PTA board members. One had to leave early, unfortunately, due to some other obligations, but Natasha Taylor and Jose Beltran, who've been great board members, great parents of our PTA. Their children are graduating tomorrow, and so they have served their time well here at the Del Air PTA. And I want to give a special shout out to Maggie Kaplan, who is sitting right there. The students will gift you one of these, but she made the yearbook. She has spearheaded the yearbook for our school for the last 2 years. And so, but the real reason I'm so excited for today is we are able to hear from 3 of our students today. And so without further ado, and with 34 seconds split amongst evenly to our students, we'll yield the floor to our students at Del Air Elementary School. Thanks all.
Excellent. All right. Thank you so much. And you do not have to rush. We are going to extend your time to 3 minutes because I recognize you may have also prepared some comments or your speech. So please, our first speaker is Olive Beltran. Welcome.
Hello, my name is Olive Beltran, and I am 10 years old. I am a 5th grader at Del Air Elementary for 2 more days. I'm excited that I will be a Wiseman Middle School Dolphin in the fall. I'm here to give you my review of Del Air Elementary. First of all, the teachers are the best. A+, no notes. But, well, you could give them a little bit more money, maybe. Let me tell you a little bit about my teachers. My kindergarten teacher was Mrs. Robolato during COVID. My dad and I built a computer so I could attend my classes online. I even did a magic show during our talent show online. I shall now perform one of my tricks. Watch the finger. Anyway, I appreciate Mrs. Robolato being patient with us during those classes via Zoom. Next was Mrs. Smiley. She was so kind and encouraged me to keep reading hard books. For second grade, I had Mrs. Amaral, who taught me my math facts, and I also loved the chocolate breakfast for the summer reading reward. Third grade was Mrs. Wagner. She was very special because she was also my mom's third grade teacher. We are now both part of the Wagner bunch. Mrs. Wagner taught me the secret language, that is cursive. Now I can read all of my parents' love letters. Mrs. Thompson was my fourth grade teacher. She taught me all about money and taxes. Did I mention that teachers need more money? Fourth grade, I did a report on axolotls, and I've been wanting to meet an axolotl ever since. And I finally got to meet one a few weeks ago on our trip in Mexico City. Mrs. Downer is my fifth grader right now. She taught me that you can have different solutions to the same problem. I love her so much, and I love how many art projects we were able to create in the classroom. I'll appreciate them forever. I want to thank all of my teachers, and I will never forget them. I also want to thank all of my principals, Ms. Pitlock, Mrs. Chia, and Ms. Alyssa, and Coach Shackstad. Finally, I want to say thank you to our PTA that has helped us for so many events each year. Our school would have been a little boring without them. And no, my dad did not say that. Thank you to the school board for all of your support.
Thank you so much. That was wonderful. All right. Next, we have Samuel Martin.
Hello, my name is Samuel Martin, and I would like to. Hello, my name is Samuel Martin, and I would like to talk about the school subjects and how they have helped me throughout the school year. Well, all of elementary school. In first grade, I learned addition and subtraction. In second grade, I learned about multiplication and division. In third grade, I learned adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing fractions. In fourth grade, we did a little more fractions and we got into using area models. And in the fifth grade, which me and my peers are gonna graduate from. Sorry, I'm a little nervous.
You're doing great.
Thank you. I learned about decimals and geometry and coordinates. And not only was it in math that I grew in, I also improved in English, language arts, science, and history. I used to not put the capital letters when I was in first grade, but throughout second, third, and fourth and fifth grade, I remembered to use capitals where they should be. I have improved in science by critically thinking and working along with my peers. I have also learned to stop working when I'm supposed to, and tell others to do so. I am improved in history by taking notes faster because I'm kind of slow. And this year we learned about the 13 colonies and about the American Revolution. Thank you for letting me join this board meeting and have a good rest of your evening.
Thank you, Sam. All right. Our next speaker is Ella Jung, Del Air fifth grade reflection. All right.
Hello, my name is Ella Jung. I'm a fifth grader and the secretary of Del Air Elementary. I'd like to share a few of my experiences of my time at this school. I'd like to start with the amazing teachers. They are kind and help us learn accurately and come to support the students in things not related to school. Miss Tachi, Miss Brown, Miss Romano, Miss Garcia, Miss Wilborn, Mr. Filatico, and Mr. Mendez. They all came to my musical performances and it felt so nice seeing them outside of school. I had an awesome experience at Del Air. I loved Jogathon, Halloween party, and the Spirit Days. I've made bunches of new friends since I first started coming to Del Air Elementary to right now, when I'm about to graduate and go to middle school to become a dolphin. That is all I have to say. Thank you for giving me your attention.
Thank you so much. Our next speaker is Ivy Taylor. And
Yeah, she went to go.
oh, okay.
Ivy Taylor was my person.
We would have welcomed her comments as well. If she'd like to come back, she's definitely welcome. Okay, our next speaker is Kelly Schumacher, Weisburn Da Vinci Partner. Oh, sorry.
This is her cover, she did the cover. Great. Just a copy for us?
Yeah.
We'll take that as a yes.
Quick picture with this one. I think they have to.
Love to.
One night after all. They have their promotion ceremony at 10 a.m.
Sammy, do you want to hold it? Yeah. Awesome.
There you go.
Cheese.
Okay. It's been.
Good evening. I'm Kelly Shoemaker, a proud Weisburn teacher and mom of two sons. I'm grateful we're able to attend Weisburn schools and Da Vinci High School. I'm grateful for the unique partnership between Weisburn and Da Vinci, which has created exceptional opportunities for students attending our schools. That is why I'm concerned by what seems to be an increasingly negative tone from this board when discussing Da Vinci schools. Da Vinci is not some outside organization. Da Vinci is Weisburn. It is our creation. It is one of our district's greatest accomplishments. I remember when we weren't unified. Families would leave our district to find other high schools. I remember dedicated parents who petitioned the state for unification. I remember the frustration when that stalled, and I remember that rather than accepting the status quo, we released our then middle school principal, Matt Wonder, to find other solutions. A vision emerged for student-centered high schools built around real-world learning and preparation for life. The success of those high schools were so significant that our board, when we ultimately became unified, decided to stay with the charter model. Our parents and families passed a third bond so we could build this beautiful high school campus. Da Vinci has continued to innovate with the addition of Da Vinci Communications, Da Vinci Connect, and RISE, which has created opportunities for young people at serious risk of not completing their education. The work being done at RISE is extraordinary. Students receive not only an education, but support, hope, and a path toward a more successful life. I was deeply disappointed when this board voted against reauthorizing RISE as part of the Da Vinci Charter. I would hope that a district with Weisburn's long history of innovation and commitment to students would embrace programs that successfully serve some of our most vulnerable young people. Weisburn created Da Vinci schools. Da Vinci is Weisburn. Together, Weisburn and Da Vinci have built something remarkable, including RISE in our partnership has the potential to change lives and expand opportunities for students who need them the most. Da Vinci is Weisburn. All of the schools within the Da Vinci Charter uphold our long history of innovation and commitment to students. They deserve to be valued, supported, and celebrated rather than dismissed or cast aside.
Kelly. Our next speaker is Grace Bader, Students and Schools, number 6, non-agenda items. Welcome, Grace.
Thank you. Good evening. I'm here again tonight asking a question that many Wiseburn parents and community members are asking. Why did you choose not to reauthorize Da Vinci Rise, a school that serves as a lifeline for foster youth, at-risk students, and young people facing homelessness in our community? You have cited fiduciary concerns as the reasons for this decision. However, those claims do not appear to align with the facts, as the school was positioned to receive a $10 million grant. If finances were not truly the issue, then what was? And why was the Futures Plus program also pushed out by this board? The Wiseburn Futures Plus program was created to support 18 to 22-year-old students with disabilities. These are students who need support. Programs like Futures Plus and Da Vinci Rise are not a luxury, they are a necessity. Many of us in the Wiseburn community are left wondering whether these students simply do not fit in the image of success that this board wants to promote. Do students who struggle, who have experienced trauma, who have faced housing instability, or who require additional support somehow not meet your standards? If that is the case, it is deeply troubling. As a parent of a child with special needs, I am outraged by the message these decisions send to our community. These are precisely the students who need the most support, the most understanding, and the most services, not fewer opportunities and fewer resources. The students served by Da Vinci Rise and the Futures Plus program are not statistics. They are children and young adults with hopes, dreams, talents, and potential. They deserve educators and leaders who believe in them and who are willing to fight for them, not discard them. Tonight, many Wiseburn parents are questioning not only these decisions, but the values behind them. We are asking whether the needs of our most vulnerable students, children, Wiseburn children, like my child, were truly considered when you took that vote. We are asking whether equity and inclusion apply to all Wiseburn students or only to those who you think fit neatly into your model. Our Wiseburn community deserves answers. More importantly, these Wiseburn students deserve better. That's all.
Thank you, Grace. Our next speaker is Jean Ogar. Jean Ogar, I apologize if I mispronounced that. And also the topic is schools, number 6 non-agenda items. Welcome.
Good evening. My name is Jeannie Agar, and I'm a Wiseburn resident and parent. At the May 28th board meeting, we honored our legacy teachers. Their legacy is built on integrity through years of honest dedication to our students. Tonight, I am here to address the importance of maintaining the same standard of integrity within our board leadership. The Wiseburn School District website provides public profiles for each board member. However, these profiles do not disclose that President Roger Banuelos and Trustee Nelson Martinez are top executives of the same company, Element Consulting, a firm that manages school construction programs. In fact, the profile for Mr. Martinez does not even provide the name of his employer. For a board managing millions in taxpayer bonds, disclosing a trustee's company is essential to maintaining basic professional integrity. Parents and taxpayers have a right to know exactly who trustees work for to evaluate potential conflicts of interest. Concurrently, on the Element Consulting website, Mr. Banuelos and Mr. Martinez clearly state that they are original founders of the Da Vinci schools. This creates a concerning contradiction. Their company information is missing from our school website, yet our schools are showcased on their company website, which is used to win contracts in other districts. Despite this contradiction, one result remains. Our community is left unaware of their shared business interests and the use of our schools in their corporate marketing materials. Unfortunately, their claim about being founders of Da Vinci schools is not supported by the public record. A founder is a person who creates a new organization from the ground up. Mr. Banuelos and Mr. Martinez were elected officials who voted to approve a charter and facility contracts. Voting to approve a project does not mean that you created the project. Their claim overlooks the people who actually did the work to create the schools. The true founders of Da Vinci schools secured early grants, designed the project-based curriculum, and managed operations from the ground up. They built the schools through honest dedication to our students, just like our legacy teachers. However, this is not just about clarifying school history. In the corporate world, claims about being a founder are a big deal. Companies like Tesla and Facebook were stuck in multi-million-dollar lawsuits over the creators of these brands. Please correct both websites. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Shiana. May not be able to pronounce this correctly. I do apologize. Shiana Alkvist. And the topic is school directory, opt-out options, no screens in K and first grade. Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening. I'm Shayna Alquist. I'm a parent of a third grader and a kindergartner at Del Air. I'm asking this district to provide a parent directory this fall with the ability to opt out like the ones that I had when I was growing up. So last year, Nolan's 5th birthday was coming and he wanted his friends there, but without a school directory, we weren't sure how to contact them. So as we ran through the names, we realized that many of his closest friends were from recess or right at school, not his own classroom. So we parents actually built a contact list for his class ourselves, but that's the problem with what we're doing today. It takes work and people still fall through the cracks. And for friends outside of his class, Class Dojo and our homemade directory, none of them could help. They only covered his one class. So I labeled 5 invitations and practiced with Nolan, who could not read yet because he was 5. This is the one that starts with a B. This is for Braden. Unfortunately, there were 2 M names. This one says Mateo. This one's Milo. So we sent him off to school, loose in his backpack, hoping that his friends' parents would see them. But only one of those families ever replied. And I suspect the other 4 never made it home. A school directory would have let Nolan invite his friends without us passing out invitations at his school. Families who truly want additional privacy can simply opt out. The rest of us just want to find each other easily without having to jump through hoops. I encourage the district to seriously consider this request, and I've sent an email as well with some additional details demonstrating that federal law protects schools' rights to do this. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Jasmine McKenna Batch. I hope I pronounced that correctly. All right. School-wide directory and opt-out options, no screens in TK and K.
Yes, I wanted to just provide my experience on why I want to support you guys to support those opt-out school directories and less screen time or no screen time in TK through first grade. I didn't do a very good job at writing it there.
Oh, good.
Some of the story you just heard, my daughter started at Holly Glen Elementary this year as a kindergartner, and she got a lot of friends. She goes to RAS, so a lot of her friends she met at recess or RAS, and we didn't have any contact. So she would want to go have playtimes with them, and I would have to go, okay, like, what's your friend's name? Can you go home and find out, like, what's their parents' name? And then because I can't go and ask, like, oh, what class, or what's their parents' name? What class they're in? I can't go to that teacher and ask, can I have their contact information for this person, for this child, because of confidentiality. I'd have to go to the room parent, and the room parent would, if I knew which room parent was for which class, I would have to go and ask them for this. And there's a lot of roundabout trying to just build connection and community for my child, but also for me. It'd be nice. I work a full-time job, so does my husband. I don't have the option to come at drop off or at the late pickup or at the regular time pickup to talk to parents. I am in dropping my kid off and then coming anytime between 5:30 and 6 o'clock right after work, shooting it home. So I don't have the ability to talk and ask for numbers. So when I do, it's a lot of not prep time, but it's just a lot of hoops to jump through. And I just like us to be able to build that community in our school district where we can contact, have play dates, figure out what's happening and everything for that. So that's all I wanted to say.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Jennifer Ortiz. And the topic is also parents class opt-out directory.
Yes.
Welcome.
Hi, I'm Jennifer. I have 2 boys that go to Del Air. One is just finishing first grade and third grade. We've been a Del Air family for 5 years. Community is really important to me. It's one of my core values is to build relationships, within our family and connecting with others. It's something we value very much. And I find that I also hear that Del Air, it's a value of Del Air and Wiseburn, but I do feel a disconnect because as some of my other fellow moms have shared, it's been difficult to really connect with other families. This past year, my son also had a birthday party And he gave me a list of names, and most of them I didn't know how to get a hold of the parents. So we went to, I think it was the ice cream social, and I sat there and I scoped out. And so if you see Mateo's mom, or if he's here, let me know, okay? Because I'll go find her and talk to her. And I did that with several of the parents. Or if they'll know like a name, but a child's first name, but not the last name. And I'll pull up the yearbook and I say, okay, show me who this kid is. I'll find him. So it's just, there's a lot that I have to do to try to just build connections. I have made friends with 2 other moms who are fairly new to Del Air. And they're so grateful that I approached them. And they're like, I'm new here. I don't know a lot of other families. So I really appreciate that you came and connected with us. I'm also a single mom. So the building that village and that support and that connection and community is really important, not just for me, but especially for my kids too. So thank you. That's all I wanted to share.
Thank you. Our last speaker is Alex Rodriguez, and with a parent concern. Welcome.
Hi, good evening. I'm also with these other moms. My name's Alex Rodriguez. I'm a mom of 2 little ones at Del Air Elementary School. We moved into this area last September because we had heard really great things. But we didn't close on the house until middle of September, so we lost about the first month. Same deal. We didn't come from this district. I had so many questions. It was hard to connect on the class dojo. I would love a parent directory. Actually, Shane and I connected because in late April, early May, when Mrs. Elliott had to go out, we love her and miss her so much. All the parents rallied together and they're like, we need to keep these kids on track with their milestones. Mrs. Elliott set up these big reading goals and we all got on a WhatsApp. I guess the WhatsApp always existed, but I didn't get on it until almost the end of the school year. Anyway, we banded together and we got the kids through the end of the year. So that was wonderful. But also our second petition to you guys is to follow LAUSD's lead to ban screens entirely in K and first, maybe even second, because screens dysregulate children. Kids who are overexposed to screens show negative outcomes across several areas of their lives. There is a preponderance of evidence in this day and age that we're in a math and reading crisis, as shown earlier on the stats. And kids have a right to a low stimulation learning environment that fosters deep thinking, attention, focus, getting to write with their hands, not just click-clacking. And we're hoping that the kids will also have that experiential, that social learning in accordance with pediatric recommendations for their age group. By the end of this month, LAUSD is voting on implementing new policy surrounding tech in classrooms, and we hope that the students of Wiseburn will follow suit to what LAUSD decides. Thank you.
Thank you, Alex. We are now moving to section 7, which are board member reports. I'll go ahead and start on my left-hand side with Rebecca.
Thanks, Roger. I'm sorry I wasn't here at the last board meeting because I know it's one of our favorites when we get to celebrate our longevity and honorees and our retirees. So I just wanted to say a belated congratulations to all of those who were recognized at the last board meeting and celebrated there. I know that their service to our students, schools and communities is incredible. So thank you for all that you've done, and especially to 2 of the teachers who I know were honored. Then sorry. To Dee Dee and sorry. I just know that how much I'm sorry. As a mom with a kid who struggled early in his elementary school career, 2 of the teachers, I didn't expect to do this.
pause and we can.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Why don't you come back? I'm sorry.
Look over to the right-hand side, Nelson.
Thank you, Roger. As it's, as we're winding down, it's also a busy and exciting time of the year for us. I had an opportunity with Blake to visit Del Air Elementary School and also, well, it was Widener Middle School for the Holly Glen Elementary Schools, but got to see the kids in action, both at Del Air and at Holly Glen, where they were actually having a musical performance. So I got to witness that. So fun times. I also wanted to just take a moment and just recognize the administrators, the teachers, and staff as we wind down. Thank you for all the work that you're doing. I mean, as you can see this evening, the three young children that came up before the board and did actually a wonderful presentation. It was the stories that they shared and the impact that the teachers have. And they talked about the subject material, but they also shared the stories of their teachers and that impact. And they remembered all their teachers. I still remember all my elementary school teachers. That's the impact. And I don't want to call her out, but you can see the impact that you have here with Rebecca as well. And I think with all of our colleagues that, had you as teachers. So again, thank you to the teachers. The impact that you make is amazing. And to those that are retiring, obviously my best wishes on your future endeavors. But you always will have an impact on those children, whether they're currently your students or they're old and on the board. And then last but not least, I'm looking forward to the promotions and the Da Vinci graduations that are coming up as well. Excited about that, and I would just want to congratulate all the promotees and the graduates and their families. That's all I have.
Thank you, Nelson. We'll go to Michelle.
Thank you. I too was not able to make it to the last board meeting. It is literally my favorite meeting. It is so filled with just positivity and gratefulness, and still really celebrates everything that this district is about. So I'm sad to have missed that one, but congratulations to the longtime honorees and retirees. I just wanted to say thank you to Jerry Wan. He's been consistently coming to our board meetings and speaking on various topics. And it's that kind of participation and encouraging, and the addition of students to be involved in these meetings again is it's a tremendous feat to be able to stay engaged and to encourage engagement. So I do appreciate that. When I see students, by the way, fifth graders are the best, and I'm a little biased as a fifth grade teacher, but they are literally the best. And so they are just so funny. But I want to say that having them involved, that is exactly, like, we see a lot of dashboards and figures and numbers and LCAP things. And on the board, I mean, no shade to my colleagues, but you don't get to see that every single day. And that is what we are here for. And that is exactly why. And so thank you for having, thank you to Jerry for illustrating that for us. I want to say, as well as, just my personal idea around why I do what I do and why I love this community is because there is such a community, but it is hard fought. And so, the people that our children are surrounded with end up being our people in our community. So I do commend this feeling, this idea that we want to be more connected. I do appreciate that. And again, no shade to my colleagues, and we use the term winding down. We are not winding down. We are, like, these last 2 days are probably some of the busiest days for teachers and the craziest. And also when all is said and done, we have such big feelings. When all is said and done, we're so grateful for these days. We might not see it in the weeds, but give us a week and we will be really happy and just grateful for what it was. But congratulations, we made it to the end of the year. Thank you to the teachers and all the hard work and the staff that we've put into this year. And I look forward to a really well-deserved break for everyone involved. And this is just a time of celebrations and the promotions and everything that gets put into this time. It's just one of my favorite times of the year. So thank you to everybody that has made that so special.
Thank you, Michelle. Neil?
Thank you. I'll keep mine brief. I echo my colleagues' comments. Thank you to all the teachers, the administrators, the staffs, the support teams, the counselors, the nurses, everybody for getting us here and for the great work. Thank you to Dee Dee and Robin, presidents of the Wiseburn Faculty Association, for our coffee this afternoon and the opportunity to share and connect. Super important and valued. So thank you very much. Michelle, thank you for joining. Thank you, Maggie, for your terrific work on the LCAP. One thing you did in your presentation that reminded me how powerful it is reminded us of our assurances, our goals. And when you see them read, they're pretty inspiring, right? They're pretty aspirational, they're pretty directional, they're pretty inspiring. And Dr. Silvers, I'm excited because I know we're working on getting our foundational elements on the wall. And it would be great to see those to inspire us to continue doing great work with and for our community. Thank you very much.
Great. Thank you, Neil. Rebecca?
All right.
All right.
We're gonna try this again.
Round two.
I'm not gonna look at Dee Dee because but I want to thank Dee Dee and Deborah Davis in particular. Nope, not worry. Because the effort that both of them put in with my own kid, who's now in 7th grade, was foundational for them. I looked at you. Anyways, thank you. That's it. I also just want to say how grateful I am to the district for having embarked on a process, which I'm sure Kim is going to share more about, with the California Collaborative for Educational Excellence, which will give us the opportunity to continue to evaluate our special education programs and how we are providing services at the rate and in the best way for all of our students with varying needs, whatever they are. I had the privilege of attending a session that they put on at the CSBA conference last December, and it was incredibly impactful. So thank you to Dr. Silvers for reaching out to them and making that come to our district. We'll be one of, I believe, 3 school districts in the state who will be who will have been part of the incredible work that they're doing. Really looking forward to being part of that process and seeing where it goes, because I do believe that this district values those students, values the input, and from families, has made significant changes just in my time in the district, and how we ensure that we're meeting all of our obligations, and how we're engaging families. And you know, a lot of credit to Kim for having turned things around. It's very personal. So, thank you.
Thank you, Rebecca.
Sorry.
All right. I have a few comments as well tonight. First, I'd like to start off by thanking everyone for the academic year. It's really exciting to see it so active come to a close, not winding down, because there's so many activities that are up and coming. In particular, tomorrow, so many promotions, so many ceremonies and graduations. It is truly an unbelievably busy time, but also a great time to reflect and have such great, tremendous gratitude to everyone that contributes. You've heard me say on the board, thank you. Thank you for all your contributions and for making Wiseburn just a little bit better every day. So I really do mean that. It's really an unbelievable and wonderful district. Thank you again to everyone for everything that you do every day, day in and day out. On Thursday, my youngest son, Alex, will graduate from Da Vinci Science. That'll be 4 sons that have gone from kindergarten through high school here at Wiseburn and Da Vinci. So it is truly a privilege and an honor to live in this community with such great people and great teachers. Definitely a tremendous debt of gratitude, and really honored and privileged to live here in the Wiseburn Unified School District. With that said, I do want, as a part of my personal public comments, I do want to clarify some things that we've heard here under public comments from some individuals. They may or may not have all of the information based on what they see or research. And I do commend everyone for coming to the board meeting and providing your comments in public. Everyone is always welcome to do so. We do want to hear it. I do want to share that it's public knowledge. I am the president of Element Consulting. That is no secret. In fact, the company has been established for 10 years. We are doing incredibly well in program project construction management with multiple school districts. And we do not do any work here at Wiseburn. So if there's any implication to that people are trying to espouse, completely inaccurate. Element, I do not benefit from any contracts with regards to the work here. I live in this community, so I personally have walked the community, knocked on doors to gather and gain support for the bond measures. You've heard me say it here under public comment. It is not a secret. There's nothing behind the scenes. Again, it's in my company website. It's on the if it's not on the district website, it's definitely on my company website, which I'm incredibly proud of. With that said, again, we do not do any work here in Wiseburn, and we never will. That would absolutely be a conflict of interest, and integrity is at my core, in terms of my values. We wouldn't do that, and we're not going to do that. Second, there's comments about my involvement in Da Vinci. I am 100% a founder. I will say that in a school district, or in terms of the Da Vinci or a charter school, it is not founded by itself or one person. It is a huge effort by hundreds of people that have contributed into that. I am probably one of 20, one of 30 that are founders. I don't know the actual count. I'm sure Da Vinci has that. But I will say one thing. If it wasn't for me, Da Vinci would not exist in the way that it does today. I was the chief negotiator with Da Vinci for the MOU and Magna Carta. I was also one of the chief negotiators with the city of El Segundo that approved the EIR to even build the school here at this site. And I was also one of the chief negotiators as board president with the other feeder districts and Centinela Valley that led to the agreement so that we can secede from Centinela Valley so that we could be a unified school district. Those are huge accomplishments that probably two people, I know Nelson is one of those because he was a co-negotiator in that. Without the two of us, there probably wouldn't be a unification. So for those that don't have all of the facts and would like to come and share some of those, again, you're always welcome. I would always like for people to do their research and do a little bit more homework in terms of what they find, whether it's online or have conversations with folks to truly understand what that involvement is. There might be conversations or difficult dialogues with Da Vinci from time to time. Absolutely. The RISE petition was a very difficult conversation to be had, one that legally we could never even have approved. Please take a look at the write-up that was done by our legal counsel. If you haven't already, it's a 7 or 8 page document. This board legally could not have approved that. It was actually an improper submission. It was never going to be approved based on the legality of it and the whole challenges that could have arisen with the Youth Build program and how it would have been very specific programs within DV Connect. It's a very, very complicated situation. I probably spent 200 hours studying that. So for those that say that we don't spend as much time on it, again, that's inaccurate. I probably spent 200 hours on that initiative alone. It is incredibly important when those things come up to us that we investigate and we do our due diligence. I'm always going to do that. I think you've seen whenever there's a board agenda item, I'm very detail oriented. I'm going to read the document. I think all of our staff here knows that I do my due diligence with it, and I hold our staff, our board, our superintendent to the highest standards. And I don't want things that are unvetted and unplanned to come to our board without an action plan. Brainstorming is great, but there's a place for that. And I expect everybody to do their homework before they come to this board with a full-blown petition. I am not going to do homework for them. I expect them to do their own work. That was not the case with RISE. We received a 4-page document, which, as I shared with the Da Vinci board, was a terrible submission and an atrocious submission to be submitted. I am not going to do someone else's homework. I expect it to be fully vetted and brought to this board for full consideration and have a dialogue on it with regards to the topic. There's a lot more I can say on that on that topic. That was one incident with RISE and in terms of with Da Vinci. One incident does not define the relationship. Absolutely, it's a very important one that I value and I have deep concerns over it. And we're going to continue to move on and look to build our relationships with Da Vinci, whether it's on this topic or on another topic. The future is long. I mean, school districts last for 100 years or longer. So this one item I do not see as a defining moment in terms of the future for the relationship that Da Vinci and Weisbern. I look forward to working with all of my partners at Da Vinci and on the Weisbern board for a better Weisbern and a better Da Vinci. Why wouldn't I want to do that? There's no reason for me not to. I've lived in this community for over 20 years and 4 of my sons have graduated from these schools. My investment is probably larger and longer than most. As such, I expect our relationship with Weisbern and Da Vinci, sure, it needs some mending, but I expect it to move forward in a strong fashion. And we'll be meeting with Da Vinci and look forward to those conversations as well. Thank you. All right, next we are going to move into our district leadership reports, and I'm going to start on my right-hand side with Kim.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I just echo some of what Rebecca shared regarding yesterday. We did meet with the California Collaborative for Educational Excellence, so CCEE, new acronym that we'll be throwing out. And it included Blake, Nisha, Fiscal, Marlu, and Maggie for Ed Services, in addition to our SELPA director, Dina Parker, and our program coordinator, the SELPA, Vanessa Smith. Others might share, but I would just say that the goal of this, as I shared in my update, was really to start doing a deep dive. Initially looking through the special education programs, services, supports, what we're looking, how we deliver, what are we seeing as trends. But I will say that I think as we met, which was over 3 hours yesterday, it was a really inspirational and focused meeting and just like laying the groundwork. But I think what we recognize is this is a collective for our district. Nothing's in a silo. Nothing that happened in special education happens by itself. It's all relatable. It's all related to our other programs and services and supports. And so this was an opportunity to start just laying some groundwork, looking at our current data, establishing some goals, 1 year, 3 year, 5 year plans. And this group is going to be working as partners with our district for the next couple of months and maybe year or so of just really developing some plans that we can look at and look at how we are supporting students. What can we do better? What can we look at differently? And I think for me, I just appreciated the effort from everybody that was in the meeting and really look forward to, sharing out more as we jump into this process. So this was our first day yesterday, and I think we're going to get feedback from them next week in terms of some next steps, and then we'll be able to share that out with you as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Kim. Next we'll go to Dr. Monique Ingram.
Right. So student services, we're ending the year uniquely for me with a lot of parent feedback. Like Maggie mentioned, we've had like 400 plus survey responses, and this is the first year where student services or counseling is ending the year with so much feedback from parents about student safety, student experiences, right? E-bikes and directory requests and screen time. And so just wanted to reiterate to the board and to the community that we are taking those back into consideration, specifically about screen time. Just in the last few days, we've received about 40 emails from parents expressing their interest in our consideration of adjusting or looking into our policies regarding screen time. And so as we heard today, right? And so we want you in the community to know that we're considering that feedback, reviewing our technology and how it's currently being used in the classrooms, and making sure that a part of that review, we're looking at a range of possibilities to ensure that technology use is purposeful, that it supports instruction, assessment, and also interventions for our students. And based on that information from our school sites and from our community, or based on that information, we are understanding now that our younger students are averaging less than about 30 minutes of screen time in the classroom currently. That's a part of our consideration, and just how we can make sure that our screen time use is developmentally appropriate and also addressing the needs and the desires of our community members, but also meeting the needs of our teachers as well. And so in the near future, we'll be bringing recommendations to the board for approval.
You know, and I just want to sort of echo the LA Unified, policy or protocol that's happening now. And just, we definitely have reviewed that. It's public. And, we need to really take a look at screen time. I think that it was said, I saw a presentation recently that talked about the pendulum, and just the simple sort of image is that the pendulum's sort of swinging back. We were really hitting hard on the one-to-one devices back in 2000. I'm going to age myself here, 10, 11, 12, something around there. And it was important to get one-to-one devices in front of kids. And, the reality is we did. We were very successful in getting devices in front of kids. And I think now the question is, how do you get devices away from kids? Because what happened since then was the evolution of the iPhone, these smartphones that are as powerful as those, if not more powerful than the devices that are before them, the Chromebooks, so to speak. So I do think that this is an inflection point in how we go about not just our TK 1 and 2 students, but how are we looking and modeling technology use across the board. This is a really, really important issue for us, and something that we're going to bring to this board seriously in June and maybe July, depending on timing. So I just want to say that our commitment is to do this thoroughly, to make sure, and there's going to be cuts to screen time. I mean, just flat out our early conversations, or maybe not. I mean, I want to say, I go into TK classrooms and kinder classrooms, our teachers aren't using screens that much. And I think we need to sort of figure out what that is and what the limit is. And we need to do an inventory of that so we're better educated. We have some of our TKK leaders in the room here today, so we need to make sure that we're working with the right people to better understand that. One of them, I think, is our summer school principal, so we'll have some time to be able to work with Ms. Shoemaker on that. But we'll stop by and have that conversation, Kelly. Nonetheless, I do think that's a really important conversation for us to have. I think we received something like 46 emails in the last day or so, so we appreciate that. It's always good when you're getting the feedback. It's important to parents, and we'll definitely look at that. The other side of the coin is the e-bike. So I'm just gonna say my comments now. I had them to be said in my comments, but I'm just gonna say them now. Are you done, Okay. Thank you. Sorry. I probably should have asked that first.
Well, Wendy,
Can we set him for 3 minutes? Is it 8 o'clock yet? But I do think it's important to share. I did have a very long meeting with Chief Lane yesterday, and a large part of that conversation revolved around e-bikes and e-bike safety, and really that concern in our upper elementary, middle school. And they have committed to help support us with e-bike safety. I know Dr. Ingram is also putting together a policy. That'll be another one that will come to you. We've had a chance to meet with our partners at Redondo Beach and Manhattan Beach, and there's a really robust, their situation is different than ours. If you see those bike racks over there, it's way different, but it's still a problem for us, and it's still an emerging problem for us that we need to look at. So we have a plan. We have a policy. We're just penning it. I mean, this is a new development. Obviously, there have been some really tragic events with e-bikes over the last, few months. And we want to get it right now and bring that back to the board, so that we're ready to do that. And we'll be ready to do that. So excited about bringing that stuff. These are very, very important issues. They're safety issues, they're development issues. And we want to do our due diligence so that what we bring to you is accurate and right. So thanks. Thanks, Dr. Ingram. Let me steal some of your time.
Dr. Silvers and perhaps Dr. Ingram too. We've also had a lot of conversation about phone usage. And if you could put into your equation research, the feelings about phones in schools. I know the bell-to-bell policy exists. Is it sufficient, et cetera?
Yeah, so Dr. Goldman, I think this will include that. Our tech policy will include phones. And, I'm going to just divulge what we're thinking now. Our thoughts, and this has been reaching out to local districts, looking at the research, is that there is likely going to be a recommendation for a bell-to-bell ban on cell phones. When you cross the gates, there's no cell phones. I mean, there's going to be some adapting that needs to be involved there in terms of, what happens when, because, the cell phones are very evident, they're there, it's not going to mean kids won't use them. And so we've got to be, diligent about what those consequences are. We need to be consistent about them, about implementing them. And just talking to Lisa Wilberg here, just in the last week, it just hasn't been a major issue at the middle school this year. And they've been much more, they've been real proactive about taking phones when they see them, about going through the steps. But instead of it just being sort of an operating procedure at the school level, we want to bring that to the board so that it's sort of a collective policy across the district. Because, it's going to start, I think the more time goes, the more and more younger kids are having, have phones as well. So anyway, it does include that, Dr. Goldman. It's a long way of saying that.
Yes, suffice. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Rebecca, you had a comment.
Yeah, just on the e-bike issue, I also noted some comments from the community about the need for signage at the new sports complex. I know you guys are working on it, but just reminding folks that there should be no bikes, e-bikes, skateboards, whatever on the new grass or turf or any of those things that will ruin them. And so there apparently have been some incidents of people seeing them out there. So just want to make sure that we're both have sufficient staffing to monitor, especially when the leagues are using the things and closing. Yeah, just 1 second. It's just that we're sufficiently staffing the sites and making sure that the gates are closed or whatever if they're like not used. And then the second thing is on the first part of what you were saying in terms of just getting feedback from folks. I'm grateful to the community that we're receiving that and encourage folks to reach out to us. So that we can address things throughout the school year, right? And I'm always happy to, talk to folks. I know my fellow board members are happy to talk to community members. And we will sufficiently direct those things. So just want to say that, like, don't feel like you have to wait or things get, piled up, like doors open.
I'm happy to talk to people too.
Yeah, I know you are, because I used to call you before I was on the board.
I just, to your comment and your point, I want to share that we did open the sports complex without being fully staffed. I'm happy to report that as of June 1st, we are fully staffed. Thank you to Ryan Smith, who takes on after school 3 to 5 p.m., really knows the students at the middle school, has a transition. And we have 2 new facility attendants, Hector and Jose Ramon, who are there until close time. And so we are putting signs up and we do have some support there to take care of our facilities.
Okay, great.
Thank
you.
Superintendent report's gonna go. No, I'm gonna go to Maggie. I was just joking.
Besides
Maggie, please.
Besides the LCAP, I really do want to thank 2 groups of teachers, both our guiding coalition and our design team members. Both of these committees, more or less committees, but really teacher leaders on our campuses are taking instructional strategies and going beyond and above what they do just in their classroom with kids. They are leading their own teammates, which is a difficult process, but exciting because they have these wonderful relationships and we're seeing just such great work happening within our PLCs. So with that being said, is these 2 groups are going to be coming together for the first time next week. And we are going to be talking about that question number 2 of a PLC, how do we know kids know it? And that's what we do on our report cards and our assessments and how we instructionally lead. And so our groups are going to be getting together to work on the report card together, as well as the rubrics that are going to be going into the grading system that we use for piloting next year, and then well beyond that. So I'm very excited for these 2 groups to merge together in our conversations, and we'll be happily reporting out where we're at with the design team at our next meeting. So
Thank
thank you to all of those members that serve on it.
Thank you, Maggie. Marie Lou?
Like, just a reminder that Aviation's Bulldog Park edition came out.
Yes. Thank you. Okay, next we'll go to our Deputy Superintendent. Nisha, Dr. Dougal?
Good evening, everyone. Just wanted to echo Marilu with the Bulldog bark. No, just as we close out the end of the school year, lots of things going on at school sites, but it was great to visit the Spring Sings last week, Bulldog Bark this week, and really, really looking forward to all of the promotion ceremonies tomorrow. So it's an exciting time. Can't believe the end of the school year is already here, and there's lots to celebrate. We also went to writing celebrations in classrooms as well. So those have been just great opportunities for us to connect with students and parents, and of course the teachers.
Thank you, Nisha. Next, our superintendent's report. Dr. Silvers.
Yeah, thanks, Mr. Banuelos. I want to, when we hear comments about the relationship between Weisburn and Da Vinci, it makes me feel like we need to do a better job communicating. Something I need to chat with Matt about. That rhymed. And really, when you focus, I look at our board and executive cabinet, there's 12 of our kids have gone through, including my own, have gone through these schools, have been the benefactors of the Weisburn and Da Vinci, and or are being part of that process. Which turns out very well, let me tell you. It really is, the experience that our kids have had has been awesome. And so I think, there's definitely room to improve communication on that. I think we need to do that. You're not going to get much of a bigger, cheerleader of Da Vinci schools outside of here than I am. And I have a son who's a freshman in high school. So I see a lot of kids that are in the area that are about Da Vinci and other things and so forth. So I just, it challenges us a little bit to do that. And then I also feel remiss if I don't share that the Futures Plus program, this was not the district sending kids away from it. This was a recommendation by Dr. Vicki Barber back in 2018 because students who graduate, who are in the Futures program have not graduated high school yet. So typically, and in some ways legally, they are to continue at their high school and receive the end of their education until 22. Because Da Vinci was so small at the time, the district took on that role happily. In fact, I just want to share that one of, saddest moments, but an emotional moment for me was when Mikey, Alden, and Lizette graduated last year. Students who were in my, my first years as an administrator, we love that program. We love those kids, and it's also in the right place right now. And I appreciate, Matt and the Da Vinci board, and I know Michelle is here because, it's been 8 years for us to get to the point that we felt comfortable to do that. Also, on top of that, we did completely renovate the Futures Plus area, the building, and that is going to be the life skills program. Sorry. Yes. And that's going to be, utilized by our Futures Plus program for a lot of years. And, so I just think that we probably missed the boat in a joint communication on that. I think we were kind of thinking the summer would be a good time. We just had parent meetings a week ago. We're excited about the future for that program. We spent a lot of time, money, effort, love, and care into that program over the years. And I think to suggest differently is just wrong. And so I just have to say that. I'll move on to, I received a bunch of emails today. As I mentioned, I think we had 46 emails today related to the opt-out for student information or parent information so that parents could connect. I totally get that request and that wish. We're trying to vet, and I know there was some information sent, and we did receive some information that is legal from a federal standpoint. I think I even saw something that said locally it's legal. We just need to vet that stuff. I mean, it's just a little bit, it's out of the norm for us. It's just not something we had engaged in before. And so we have to vet that with our legal counsel and make sure that us, offering that, because there's what's legal and then there's what's right. And so sometimes we have to thread the needle between those two things, making sure that somebody doesn't feel left out if they can't be. We have students that come from varied backgrounds, very, very diverse backgrounds who have things that, keep it from them being able to put their information out and up. And so we don't want to put parents in a position where they can't put their name on something because they can't really. So I don't know. I'm just sharing the complexity of it. I wish it were a simpler solution, but it's just not. And these are the tough decisions and tough sort of investigations that we're going to have to go through and get some guidance moving forward. So more to come on that. I wish I had an answer today. I think I did answer thoroughly the tech part of that, but that was the second part of that piece. Sure. Yeah.
I don't know. You do raise the issue of parental release. I do wonder if an opt-in program would be easier.
That was the question to our attorney today. Is like, is that one of the, would that make it better? You know, if everybody opts in and then nobody can opt in if they choose not, you know, and so maybe they're.
I appreciate the comments.
Of course. Yeah. I mean, I understand them too. You know, I can empathize with some of that. Also want to share, and I know Michelle talked about Jerry Wan. I mean, Jerry Wan has been super involved. I mean, just the fact he brought these students up here today to speak, I think was really, really awesome. You know, Little League, and it really just made me think of Little League and the work that they're doing. Had a chance to meet with Mike Sherman today. I know they had their end of year party thing, closing ceremonies this last weekend. I mean, just what Mike was sharing with me. I think they must have had 800 people there. And so just a wonderful turnout for Wiseburn Little League. Their teams are being really competitive. Just the energy is there. You know, it does take, I've been on a Little League board before. And I'll tell you, it takes people like Mike, and like Jerry and Bob Thacker to make these things happen. Brian Lockwood, I can go through the list. I mean, these folks are really, really driving a program that kids are proud of and want to play. And that's what we want to see on our fields, you know? I mean, it's just such a wonderful thing to see. We have a lot going on at Del Air this summer in terms of building a field, a TK playground. And on top of all of that, as we start looking at projections for our TK numbers over the next few years, we are going to explore a feasibility. Noemi made me say feasibility, so we're not committing. We're going to do a feasibility study on the 2.5 classrooms that exist currently in the old CDC wing there at TK at Del Air, and turn those 2 and extend it a little bit to make 3 TK size classrooms. And in the event we have to take a classroom from Holly Glen and move over, I mean, there just may be some movement and flexibility needed over the years. And I think it's probably a good investment because we're like, I don't know, 1,000 square feet short or something like that. I mean, give or take, you know, a few hundred. We're right there. And so it just doesn't make sense not to have that space fully utilized. And it's going to cost us some money. We don't know how much yet. We'll bring that back and we'll have to match that against our budget and our priorities and bring back another sort of edited, you know, just sort of a revised budget for you all. So you could see what we'd have to cut maybe in the 3rd series, push to the 4th series, and what may fall off the list entirely. We'll do that with our CBOC as well, with our Citizen Bond Oversight Committee as well. But excited about that as an opportunity. We're just seeing a lot of energy, a lot of interest in early education, you know, lots of numbers at Holly Glen. And, you know, I want to speak, we had a chance to meet with some of our teachers, TK and Kinder, because we're experiencing just a sort of an influx in those early education. I think now we're aiming to have 7 Kinder classes next year and 6 TK. And I won't get into all the details on how that happened and you know, so forth. But what I will say is, you know, it is different when you look at the TK5 at Del Air and you see how they progress over time, and you have older students and younger students as opposed to all the babies, all the youngest primary students at Holly Glen. And you know, I think it takes meetings and times like this to really understand and to walk there and see, you know, how much need is there. Appreciate the 2, you know, members that are here today with us that help share that perspective. So we have to really look at our supervision schedules. We have to look at our allocations of aides. We have to look at, you know, just the day-to-day operations of the little ones. In our TKK area especially, and see if we can do better. You know, I own that one as maybe having, you know, you look at numbers 600 versus 600, you know, numbers of enrollment, but that doesn't always equate to the amount of work and the energy. And it makes total common sense when you speak it, right? When you talk about it, you're like, oh, they're like 4, it makes a lot of sense. So we're definitely taking that serious this summer. We'll be coming back to this board with some requests for some support there. So I wanted to add that. And sorry, Nelson, I just wanted to say, really, really enjoyed the spring sings this last year. Just finished them. It was I don't know, 5 or 6 day deal. And, we are going to move the voting center back to the middle school. As this was, an unfortunate, mistake. We'll call it a mistake, but we're going to move it back to the middle school. But I do want to thank the teachers. I want to thank ICO. I want to, thank the students. The students were so cute, by the way, crossing the street, staying between the yellow lines and all of that, and then singing. So it was just a really nice event. And so thank you to everybody that made that happen, and apologies for what we did to make it more difficult. So, on to the next one. And looking forward to graduations. I'll leave it at that. Or promotions. I always mess that up too. Well, promotions tomorrow, and then 3 graduations for Da Vinci. We go to all the DV graduations on Friday, which is an awesome celebration to end the year. Thursday, I said. Did I say Friday? I meant Thursday. I would be sitting there. No, we'll be at the Connect. We'll be at the Connect graduation on Friday. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Silvers. Next, we're going to move on to section 8, which is public comment on items that are on the agenda. I do not have any cards here in front of me for items on the agenda. However, Wendy or Jason, do we have anybody online? No, thank you. Okay, moving to section 9 is consent. Is there a motion to approve item 9.1 for all of the consent items listed?
Second.
Okay, Rebecca?
Yeah, just about the GATE program, Maggie, I'm hoping that we continue to look at what the best services are that are provided for our students that are qualified for GATE, and how we're informing parents about whether their students qualify and things like that. I know there were definitely miscommunications this year. My son did not receive the information until after the program had started. And so I just want to make sure that that parents are notified early in the school year that they're, if they're continuing, and once we've done the evaluations of, who's going to be added, right, from the 3rd graders to those that those are, it's very clear when it's starting, when it's what you need to do, if you need to opt in, that sort of thing, that those notices for, I think some of them made them home, some of them didn't. So as we figure, and then also just like what the program is itself. So I think my son decided to opt out of doing it because he didn't really enjoy it the previous year. So just as we're, that's very personal. I'm not suggesting that the program is a problem, but I see that we're reauthorizing it. So I just want to encourage us to continue to look at what the best option is for providing that additional support to our higher achievers. That's it.
I have a question on item 9.10, which is to approve certified personnel. There's 2 entries for 2 teachers that say pending verification. Is that relating to like a potential effective date or a start date, but nothing else different? You can see on the right-hand side says pending verification. Has that been squared away?
So the pending verification, as you can see, there is, for some of them, there isn't a column and a step. So we're pending verification on transcripts and such, and employment verification. And other times it is a just kind of a holdup in getting employment verification and such from previous school districts. We are required now. So they have fingerprints cleared for sure, TB tests for sure, but there might be just other paperwork that we're waiting for.
But it's not, so it's nothing to hold this item up?
Correct. Nothing to hold up the item.
And you feel comfortable?
And we try, as long as they've been cleared by Department of Justice, we do like to bring them to the board, and that way they can get started on onboarding. If there's any training coming up and things like that, then they can get started on those teacher trainings.
Great, thank you.
Is it necessary to bring back another ratification notification once, please?
We may bring back, so for instance, there is a teacher on there, Rebecca Calloway. You see there's no column or step. And so we will bring this back to the board once we get the official transcripts and employment verification back, because the board will need to put that in.
Any other questions on the consent items? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 5-0. Thank you. Section 10 as action items. Our first item is rejection of claims against the district, claim number 26-14616. Is there a motion?
Second.
Any comments or questions? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 5-0. Thank you. Section 11 are action items related to facilities. Item 11.1 is award of agreement for Del Aire Elementary School flooring and ceiling tile refresh project for move services with King Office Services to be paid for by Measure EE bond funds. Is there a motion?
Mr. President, if it's okay, I'd like to recommend we take 11.1 through 11.5 since they're all facility related.
I have a motion for 11.1 through 11.5.
Second with a
Is there a
question.
second? Neil, questions?
Actually, a question on 11.1 and 2. I wonder if Noemi could just kind of bring us up to date on these two items, or Cherie, I'm not sure which of you relative to. Just bring us up to date and let the community know what's happening at particularly Del Aire.
And Noemi, I can give an update on 11.2. I mean, not necessarily on the, but I think on the project itself, if that's what you're asking,
Yeah,
Dr. Goldman.
just let the community
Yeah.
know what's happening here.
Let me just start with 11.2. Cherie, when you get up, you can take 11.1. But we're had a chance to do a full site walk yesterday with Vicente Bravo. I want to thank him for his time and AD, to take a look at the facilities, the site, to walk around the exterior, to see what areas we may need to address moving forward, just to make it the most playable space that it can. Because when you see how nice the field is, all the netting is up now, by the way. So the safety netting that we had to extend 30 feet down the line, 30 feet high, is all up and ready to go. You know, the issue is everything looks so nice on the field now and everything around it doesn't look as nice. So I do think we're going to have to do some aesthetic upgrades that we bring to the board. We're going to wait to see how the Series B projects, EE projects start sort of moving over the next few months, and maybe bring some sort of beautification to that area just to support our facilities and also, you know, kind of close that deal a little bit. So no idea what that would cost. I haven't even talked to Noemi about it yet, but plan to tomorrow or Thursday or something as we just walked it.
So the next series of that, the next series, when does that tranche go to market?
It'll be in 2027, so it's next year. It's so right around this time.
Around May.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, sure.
Cherie? 11.1.
So 11.1 is to move the agreement or to approve the agreement with King Office Services. They are the ones that performed the move last year when we did the same project at Wiseburn Middle School. So again, the district is offering the same services to all staff and teachers, where we're offering white glove to where they'll come in and they move everything out of the rooms. They place everything in containers that does not require climate controlled conditions. And then upon completion of spaces from the general contractor that's doing the flooring and ceiling tiles, the move team will then move everything back and get the room set up. The only caveat to that is staff is required to pack any of their own personal belongings. So we limit the boxes because we don't want staff packing and then having to take time to unpack as well. So we have reviewed those items with the site. The site is aware. The move is starting this Saturday. We temporarily had containers scheduled to be delivered as early as tomorrow, but the site with the ceremonies that are ongoing did ask that we please do not do so. So containers will be dropped on starting next Monday. The move that is starting to take place this weekend is in the multipurpose room. So those items will be able to be placed on the stage. And so construction can commence as planned with no impacts to our schedule.
Staff's fully informed.
Staff has been fully informed. Site walks have occurred. Memos have gone out. I've answered questions from the principal directly. So their staff is aware. And so everyone is on board.
And then just for the communities, if this is in preparation for new flooring throughout the.
New flooring, new ceiling tile. Is there exterior paint?
Not at Del Aire.
Okay.
But we're doing the Del Aire
Yeah.
TK.
Yeah.
Well,
And then the
No
field.
access controls as well.
So there's a lot of work ongoing at the site.
Yeah, there's a ton of work. And to the painting, we have, because of all the work that's going on, we decided to sort of time that out. I think the goal now would be to do some painting at Del Air in the I'm just going to mess here. It's summer of 27, next year. But we did pull out, I think it was, I'm sorry, I forget who, we've done a lot of site walks. So whoever was walking with me recently, we pointed out the rusted, by the lunch area, it's all rusted. We are pulling that out as a separate item to see if we can get that done this summer. So that is something that we're looking at. And Noemi said, yes, we're doing it. So that's awesome. Second one.
Will we be looking at interior and exterior?
Yes, at Del Air, yeah.
And I did receive a question from a community member as to how long painting lasts on the exterior. Any estimates?
I mean, normally schools are not painted. Often it's generally when you do a modernization, and that's every 25 years, 20 to 25 years. However, there's maintenance required in between, obviously. But when you do a full exterior paint, it's not.
So 25 years from now, when we have this conversation, I'll say thank you.
Yeah.
But like I said, maintenance is required in between.
Yeah, and just Dr. Goldman, we do painting as part of our summer work every year. I mean, there's certain areas that we're painting, but it's certainly more trimming and doors, and then some of the exterior stuff that's very visible, which does make it look nice, but it's not it's not the body of the building. And I do think that is going to be one of the unintended consequences of the middle school being fully painted, is that it needs to be painted as opposed to the block. But the other consequence is going to look really nice. It's going to look really, really nice. So, thanks to Nelson for that recommendation. It was a really, really nice recommendation for us. Yeah.
Thank you. For those in the public, the other three items, 11.3, 11.4, 11.5 are all notices of completion for the Del Air Connect project, as well as the 135th and Aviation Sports Complex. Again, these are notices of completion. So I do want to say thank you to NAZ, our program management team, for bringing in these projects. Thank you so much. All right. I have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Thank you. Motion carries 5-0. Action items, section 12, there are action items under fiscal.
Motion 12.1.
Is there a second?
Second with a comment.
A motion and a second, Rebecca?
Yeah, on the, just on the iReady contract, I just want to, I know recently I read about a lawsuit in another district in another state around privacy concerns within iReady. So I just want to make sure that we're aware of that we're addressing any of those concerns about how data is stored or shared for students who are using that information. And as we look at our technology usage, screen times and things like that, making sure that we're prioritizing direct instruction over the diagnostics. So just wanted to know that.
I don't have any.
It was the question.
That's fine. As well as Canvas is, also in that group, and that's something that we are looking at as well. We've been in communication with all of our vendors who have rest assured at Canaan and Associates, or Gilman Associates, that there has not been a data breach with Wiseburn or amongst themselves. And Canvas, I know, has publicly come out with statements as well.
I think the iReady one was a little bit more about like the type of data that was being collected and where it was being shared out, not necessarily a breach, but just as students are using the information, what are we storing? What does the company do with that information? How are they using it vis-a-vis other government agencies? Or, there are lots of other privacy concerns that we see right now, especially with, immigration enforcement and things like that. So just making sure that we're protecting our students and their data and not, collecting information that gets stored that we don't need to have, kind of thing.
Absolutely.
One other comment on that as well, relative to all our agreements and negotiations. This is, I believe, our second year, will be our second year with iReady. Had good experience with it. I appreciate this as a 1 year getting another evaluation. After that, in the past, we used to look at, we may still be doing multi-year agreements for better negotiated contracts. So I encourage us to look at that, assuming it passes the test again, we feel good about it, just in the future. I think we used to do that a little more. I don't know if we just want to put that mindset into our assistant superintendent's practices.
We'll discuss more this summer at our budget committee.
Yes.
But any further questions? No, I have a motion and a second, and hearing no further questions, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries 5-0. Thank you. Section 13, Blake, will we have a need for a second close?
We don't.
All right, we won't.
Good,
Don't.
yes.
So our last item, I want to highlight upcoming dates and events. Jason, if you could, there it is. Please read that. I think we've each individually mentioned all the wonderful promotions that are coming up at Del Air Aviation, SLC Futures, and also, of course, Wiseburn Middle School. And all the graduations as well at Da Vinci. So if you can attend, please do so. They're wonderful events. Truly look forward to attending as well. And with that said, I'm going to take a motion to adjourn. Second?
Second.
All those in favor? Thank you and have a good evening.